Hi everyone, welcome back. So, guys, I hope you were able to complete the previous session without any major issues. And by now, you should have seen how a file uploaded to ADLS can trigger ADF and how ADF passes that exact file name to our Databricks notebook. If you faced any issues with the trigger permissions or parameters, please check the previous sessions and let me know in the comments. Also, you can find the complete code uploaded in the GitHub repository, and you can find the GitHub repository link in the description. Today, we will use the file name to read the actual file and write it to the first layer of our medallion architecture, the bronze table. Think of bronze as the first safe place where incoming data is stored. We keep the data close to how it arrived, so we always have the original record available. Let's see how we can achieve the same. So we are going to see how the Databricks will read that file and how we can store that file into the bronze delta table. So guys, before we write anything, I just want to let you know one important design choice. You know that OLIM is our approved path for looking at incoming files. In the last class, we have defined the OLIM path, and this is the place where we will be looking at the incoming files. And today, what we are going to do? We are going to create a delta table, but we will not create the delta table inside this volume path. The bronze delta table will be created in a separate ADLS bronze container, and we will register that address as an external table. So basically, we will be having two folders. Folder 1, landing or transactions. This is the place for the incoming files. Another one will be the bronze area, where we'll be having the raw transactions data. So this is the table storage area. And this is the incoming files area. Okay. Now, why we have to keep the things like these two different folders? Because it keeps raw incoming files separate from the managed delta table. So now we already have this incoming files area defined. The next step is to create a table storage area so that we can keep the incoming files separate from the managed delta table. Let's see how we can do that thing. Let's move on to the Azure portal. Here we have the storage account, MasterDB storage account. Let's open this one. So what we are going to do, we are going to create a bronze container in the same storage account. Okay, so to create a container, what we have to do, on the left side panel, you have this data storage. Here you have the containers. And let's click on add container. Let's name it like bronze. Create. So we created a container named as bronze in the same storage account. Next thing is you have to open this bronze container. Now what we have to do, we have to give our Databricks access to this bronze container. For that, what you have to do, inside this bronze container, you have an option called as access control. Click on this access control. Go to the role assignments and search for storage blob data contributor role. Storage blob data contributor role. We have already seen the steps in the previous sessions. So in case if you have missed the old sessions, please go back to the previous sessions and try to understand. relevance of all these things. Now let's click on next. We are going to select the manage identity, select members, and we have our access connector. This is the access connector. Click on select, review plus assign. By giving this role assignment, what we have achieved, we have given the Databricks the access to write to the bronze table. So always remember to give this roles assignment before running any SQL because the permissions can take a few minutes to become active. So we have completed this bronze table storage area. Now what we are going to do, I am going to register the bronze address as an external location. So the next step is register bronze address as an external location. Let's move on to the Databricks workspace. Expand this session. Take the SQL editor. Here we have seen how to register the landing or transaction folder as an external location. Similarly, we are going to define the bronze location as an external location. You can write it here. What we are going to do, we are going to register the bronze address as an external location. Or we can define it, create external location. If not exist, fintech bronze location. This is the how we are going to name the external location. Then we have to give the URL. So guys, we are getting the suggestions. We can just press the tab and later we can modify the names. Okay. So this is the for container name. We also have the container name as bronze. So keep it like this. And it has likely taken the correct storage account. So that is also fine. Okay. This looks completely correct. We can just try to register, execute this one. Okay, we have to attach the server warehouse. We will just click on this start and attach and run. Okay, we were able to successfully define the external location for the bronze container. So we have defined the table storage area and we created an external location pointing to that one. The next step is to create a external table. So what is the next step? We will be creating an external table. So how we can create an external table? Let's move on to the SQL again. And here we can define the create table command. Okay. So create table if not exist. Let's so the catalog name will be fintech dev. Schema is bronze. And let's name the table as ADF transactions row. Let's define the columns. So the file will be having one column called as transaction ID, and that is going to be a string. Then we'll keep one customer ID. It's going to be string. Another field can be a merchant ID. Then we'll be having an amount, currency, status, event time, country. Then we will keep the source file, then ingested at, let it be a timestamp. So this is the fields of the table, and we are going to create a delta table. So we will name it like using delta, and the location, ABFSS. We can just press the tab and we can modify it. I can press the tab. So ABFSS bronze is the container name, and this is our storage account. And this is the ADF transactions row, table name. Okay. Now let's click on the, sorry, let's put a semicolon and try to execute this one. Let's select only this much and let's try to execute. Okay, the table got successfully created. Now let's see the created table inside the catalog. You can expand the catalog here and go to the catalog name. The catalog name is FinTech Dev. So expand the FinTech Dev. Inside that we have the schema called as bronze. Inside schema, there should be a table named as ADF transactions row. You can see the table is created and these are the fields that we defined. So now let's move on and see how we can get the file name and how we can store the contents of the file. So guys, in the last class, we have seen how to extract the file name and how to display that one. So this is the piece of code that we wrote in the last class where we have defined the one variable called as input file name, and we will be capturing the file name inside this variable. Also, we have defined that ADF pipeline where we have defined one parameter called as the base parameter value is the pipeline parameter that holds the arrived file name. Okay, so this will hold the arrived file name. Let's move on to the code. Okay, so I just copied the things here. Now the next step is we have to define the landing volume and the bronze table also here. Okay, now let's define the path where the file will be uploaded. File uploaded path. So we will name it like landing volume equals. So in the previous sessions, we have defined one external location that will be pointed to this landing folder. So we will be giving that path here. Volumes various landing. Okay, so this is the external location path which will be pointing to this one in the storage account. Now you can see that inside this landing volume we have transactions folder, and inside the transaction folder we will be uploading the files. So what you can do, you can just mention here one more folder name, that is transactions. Okay, so this is the variable or the path where the file will be uploaded. Now we have to mention where the data will be stored. Okay, so we are planning to store the data inside the bronze container here. So we have already created the bronze location. We are going to store the data inside this container. So for that, let's try to, so what we are going to do, write data to ADLS bronze container. So for that, let's define the variable called bronze path equals, just mention the file path abfs slash, okay, we got the suggestion, you can just press the tab, bronze, press the tab. We can just remove the unwanted things. We are not going to write these things here. Okay, now let us just check the storage account name. So the folder name is bronze, that is correct. This is the container where we are going to store the data, and this is inside the storage account which is named as, what is storage account name? Master DB SA001. So we have to give that name here. Master Databricks SA001. Okay, so this is the place where we are going to store the data, and we will, okay, instead of transactions, maybe we can just rename this one into ADF transactions underscore row. Okay, so once the file is uploaded and the pipeline complete the execution, you should be able to see this ADF underscore transaction underscore row folder inside this bronze container. Okay, now let's define one table that will be the Unity catalog table that will be pointing to this particular container. Okay, so you have already seen that we have this Unity catalog, and inside this Unity catalog we have fintech dev, bronze, ADF transaction row. So we have created this table. Now let's open this table. You can expand this one inside the catalog explorer. So we have created this table, and if you look at the data, there won't be any data now because we have to upload the file and run the pipeline. Okay, so just define this particular table into a variable called as bronze table. So what does it mean? Unity catalog table that points to the delta files above. Okay, so this table will be pointing to the delta files above, and let us name it like bronze table. You can just press the tab and you can remove the unwanted things from here. Okay, so we have defined bronze table, and the bronze table will be inside fintech dev. So we have one more level. You can see here, right? Inside the fintech dev, you have bronze. Then inside that you have the table name. Okay, so just we have to mention that schema as well here. So the schema name is bronze dot ADF transactions row. Okay, now what we have to do, we have to build the exact path of the file. So what will be the file path? File path will be the uh, location plus file name, right? That is how you will fetch the file. Okay, so we can just add it to the variable called the source path equals where we have the location where the file will be uploaded, that we have defined inside the landing volume. Okay, so now to the landing volume we just have to append the input file name because we are capturing the input file name inside this variable. So the location plus the input file name will be the complete identifier for the particular file that is getting uploaded. Clear? Okay. Now the next thing is we have to read that file. Okay. Now let us read that particular file into a data frame called as incoming df equals, we can read the file by using spark dot read dot option. We can just mention the header equals true because if you look at the file, this is the file which we are going to upload, and in this file you will be saying that the headers are already present, right? So header will be true. Now dot option, we can keep the info schema as true, sorry, info schema as false because we already explicitly mentioned that schema while we designed the table. Info schema false. Okay, now what is the format of the file? It will be CSV file, and where is the what is the identifier for the file? The complete file path will be available inside this variable called source path. Okay, fine. So we have defined the incoming DF. Okay, now you can see that in the file you have only five. How many columns are there? We have 3 plus 3, 6 plus 2, 8 columns are there, right? The last column is country. Now if you look at the table, we have defined let us go to the sample table. We can see that we have defined two more additional columns. So the source file is the column where we are going to keep track of the file name that is getting uploaded, and ingested it will keep track of the timestamp when the file got uploaded. Okay. Now we will define these two columns because that is not coming from the uploaded CSV. We have to manually define those two columns. Let's add the source file. So how we can add the source file column? You have to mention the with column. That is how you will add any new column into the data frame. And we have to mention the source file, that will be the column name. And we have to, so what will be the file name? File name will be inside this input file. Let's press the tab because we are getting the suggestions. That can save our time. Okay. So now the thing is that lit is like undefined. So you just have to import one function so that this function we can use here. So how we can import anything in the PySpark? From the PySpark library, from PySpark.sql.functions.lit. Okay, you can remove this comma. Okay, now this error is gone. Now let us remove, okay, maybe we can import this as a function so that we can use other utilities as well. Functions as f. Okay, now we can just mention like f dot from PySpark.sql. Okay, you can just remove here this one. This is a typo. Okay, from the PySpark SQL, we are importing the functions and we are calling it as f. So f.lit file name and f.date timestamp. Okay, let's see what is the column name here. Ingested data. Okay, so make sure that you are keeping the same file name, so same column name here. Ingested at. Okay, so this part is done. Now we have defined the bronze table as well. Okay, now what will be the next step? Can you guess? Yeah, we have to write the files into the ADLS container. So write to the bronze ADLS container. Okay, how we can write? For writing the things, you can, so which data frame you are going to write? You are going to write the bronze df dot write. Okay, so we'll be writing in the format, delta format we'll be going to write, and we are going to say which mode we will keep. Will be the append mode, so that next time when a file will be coming, that will be appended to the existing data. Okay, so file mode will be append, and what will be the final step? We have to mention the path of the ADLS container, right? So we have saved this path inside this variable called as bronze path. Let's copy this thing and keep it here. Save bronze path. Okay. Now what is the final step? We have to register this folder as a Unity catalog external table so that you will be able to see the data here as well. Okay. So what is the final step? We are going to register this delta folder as a Unity catalog external table. So how we can do that thing? We can write a SQL for the same. We can mention like create table if not exist. Okay, you can just press the tab and we can see. Okay, this should be in the single quotes. Just remove this thing. Just let me scroll this up a bit. Okay, so now here spark.sql create table if not exist, and the table name will be the bronze table because we already defined the table name inside this variable bronze table. Right. Then using delta, location will be the bronze path, and we just have to close this brackets. Okay. So now we have completed all the requirements to read the file and to write it into the ADLS container, as well as to register that thing as a Unity catalog external table. What's the mistake here? Let's see. Let's accept this one. Okay, this is not allowing us to take the syntax error was caused by curly braces in f string with the table name variable replaced with the explicit table name. Okay, we have just replaced that. Instead of variable, we are explicitly mentioning that table name. Okay, let's see now whether this will work or not. Okay, so what will be the next action? Next session will be, we will be uploading one file into this transaction folder, and then it should start this pipeline. So this is the pipeline which we have defined in the last session. So this pipeline should be started, and we have already mentioned the trigger. So what the trigger will do, whenever a file will be uploaded, this trigger should trigger that pipeline, and we will be able to see a new execution of the pipeline, and it should trigger these notebooks, and we should be able to write the file into this particular Unity catalog as well as to the bronze container. Okay, now let's try to upload the file. Go to the landing, transactions. Let us upload the file. One file is already there. Let me remove this one. We will upload the same file once again. This is the file. Let's upload this one. Click on upload. Yes, the file successfully got uploaded. Now the trigger is already active, right? So it should trigger the pipeline run. Let's go to the monitor tab here. Inside the monitor, you should be able to see a pipeline. Yes, this is the topmost pipeline you can see, which is in the in progress state. Okay, so this can take up to like 7 to 10 minutes to complete the execution, and we will check the output once the execution is completed. Let's wait till then. So guys, you can see here that the pipeline got completed successfully. You can see the status has succeeded. Okay, now let us go into the Unity catalog table and let's see whether we got the data or not. So we have a catalog table here. You can just click on the table here, and let us open this with the catalog explorer. Let us go to sample data. Yes, so we got the data. You can see here the two additional columns also got created. That is the source file with the file name and the ingested, this is the timestamp. So our program is successfully store the data into the Unity catalog, and this pipeline is completed. Okay, so that's it for today. So guys, today we have seen how to read the uploaded file and write that file into the Delta table. Please try to execute this program and let me know in the comments if you face any issues. Also, you can suggest me what other topics you would like me to cover. So that's it for today. See you in the next session with more interesting topics. Thank you.